You're watching The Book Reviewer with Cindy Brady, where we make hardcovers soft. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of The Book Reviewer with your host Cindy. And I actually have a series in review for you guys. So, if you've seen the past week or so, you know I've been doing a series called Annie's People by Beverly Lewis, and it is a 3-book series. And right now I have read all 3 of the books. Each one has its own book review, guys, and I am about to do a series review, as I've done with all my series that I have done thus far. This far, actually. I just threw in the thus because, anyway. Okay, so Annie's People. Beverly Lewis is an author who grew up in an Amish community, as her mother did, and she creates stories based on the customs and things she did when she grew up. And they are living in Colorado, I believe, right now. And she writes her books there. So, for those of you that have not read the series but would like to, I will say that there are spoilers, as in any series review. I try not to give away the ending, but usually in storybooks there is a time where all the knots get tied up and it's a happily ever after, and it's the case with this one as well. So the Annie's People series consists of The Preacher's Daughter, The Englisher, and The Brethren. And these 3 books make up the series. And The Preacher's Daughter starts out with an introduction to, you guessed it, the preacher's daughter. Her name is Annie Zook, and she is the preacher's daughter. And like with most children of royalty or of a prestigious occupation like a preacher, one would think that their expectations are high, and they are most of the time, but sometimes they're not, and people look to the preacher's daughter or whatever prestigious occupation it is and see how they act, and it's a reflection on the preacher, or maybe it's an architect's daughter, and they see how they act and make an opinion about the family. And that's kind of what happens in this book, because the preacher's daughter has a forbidden, in their culture, forbidden talent to express herself through art. And they're not allowed really to paint or do crafts like we do, and that creates a problem for her because she is the preacher's daughter, and what's expected of her is to join church and to be under oath for the rest of her life to agree with the church and to do those things that are expected of her. And we learned that even in an Amish community, things are not always as simple as they seem sometimes. So, moving on to the second book, The Englisher. The Englisher is a man named Ben. He is an Englisher. They call them Englishers because they are fancy, they have cell phones, they have technology, some of the no-nos in the Amish community, like even driving a car is frowned upon in the Amish community since they get around by horse and buggy. So some of those things are not that common where they live, but the Mennonites are partly Amish, but they have technology, and some things are quite mixed up sometimes. Um, so it's all about this boy that she is forbidden to date, and um, she falls in love with him, um, and the preacher caught her, and she is now embarrassed, or her father's embarrassed for her, and she has her own struggles with that. And in the Englisher, she finds out this Englisher comes to stay with the Amish and realizes that even in other cultures there are imperfections. No culture is perfect in the way that they deal with complicated issues like family relationships, extended family relationships, things like that. And so that was a good book. No culture is perfect. No one is perfect at all, really. So the ways that people deal with things are their own, and it depends on their perspective how they want to deal with it, or if it's um, their if they need to or should deal with it at all. So moving on, that was a great book, and the third book, The Brethren. So Annie is still struggling with her ability to create art, and she does it, and it is found out by her winning a contest for a paintings that she does, and the brethren aren't that happy with her, and there are other characters that are in this book that are from the first and second books as well, so it is a continuation of the first and second books. And that one was a great book. It didn't end the way I wanted it to, or what I thought it would be, but it turned out pretty well, in my opinion. The series was altogether very nice, very good, and the descriptions were very nice. Made me feel like I was there, and I guess that's the point, isn't it? Anyway, would the book reviewer read this again? Probably, because Beverly Lewis is a good author, and it's nice that she intermingles faith and religion into her story, because the Amish do believe in God. I don't know that I think they believe in Jesus Christ as well, but there are some religions, not all of them, that question the divinity of Christ and whether or not he came to the earth, was divine, all of that. And it's kind of confusing, I think, sometimes. So I will put a link down in the description below to the playlist where you can find the book reviews in case you missed them. And I think that's all we have for you today. Thanks for watching, you guys. Thanks for subscribing. Keep reading. Don't stop believing. And we will see you again next week. Bye, guys.